Hello and welcome to the Property Management Show. I'm your host, Alex Osenenko. My day job is the CEO of 4.5, a marketing company that works exclusively with fee-based property management companies. I spent the last 7 years of my life helping property management companies become more successful by improving sales, marketing, and operational efficiency. On this show, we'll deconstruct success into its key components and invite subject matter experts to help you improve every facet of your business. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in today. I got a good topic for you and an excellent guest, a good friend. His name is Douglas Skipworth. Some of you already know him, and he was one of the speakers of the PM Growth Summit. He did a fantastic job, highly rated speaker. And Douglas has a very interesting background, and he's incredibly smart and experienced entrepreneur, and we're lucky to have him to be on our side in the property management field. He could go anywhere and do anything, in my opinion, but what Douglas and I are going to tackle today is a big subject. And I get a lot of questions on this, so we're gonna dig deep into this. And the subject today is how to put together real estate investor events, education events to help you grow your property management company. People call them investor meetups, people call them different names, but the point is you put seminars together to educate local real estate investors or investors that want to invest in the area where you manage, and then get them as clients and hopefully continue to help them acquire and grow their portfolio while you get the management income. So Douglas, tell us a little bit about yourself. For those who haven't met you and not impressed with you yet, give them a little bit of taste.
No. Oh, thanks, Alex, man. It's great. It's great to be with you, and thanks for the PM Grow. It was awesome. I am as I said at PM Grow, I'm a real estate investor and a property manager. I'm a better investor because I'm a property manager, and I'm a better property manager because I'm an investor. I started as a CPA, CFA kind of background, and then got into buying rental houses myself. And that evolved into managing property for others, helping other people buy. And so, fast forward to today, we've probably got hundreds, 800 properties we own. We manage 2,600 houses here in the Memphis area. But underpinning all of it, and I think what I'm so excited to talk about today is that education aspect of it, and the continuous learning and the continuous growing, and it just the evolution that you can get and the growth you can get from that wanting to improve yourself, but also those around you, and even people you don't know who you want to attract like-minded people. So that's a lot of what we're about, and I think hopefully we get to unpack a little bit of that and discuss it in depth with you today.
Yep, that definitely sounds good. So let's dive into the subject. It seems to be sort of an art and a science, but what does go into the real estate investor presentation? How do you, what sort of content do you put? How do you figure out what to teach them?
So like when we're trying to get some type of class together, right, or a meetup or some kind of, so I can't remember if it was on this blog or this podcast or another where you talked about, hey, how do you get your topics for your podcast? You're talking to people, you're having conversations with people every day, but whether you're clients internally, questions that come up from other podcasts. So a lot of what we do is, hey, what are the FAQ, or what are the frequently asked questions? Let's have a class on the frequently asked questions, or several classes on different FAQs, and then let's poll people and see what's coming up. What's the hot topic or of this year or last year, and again, a lot of, I guess if you boiled it down, it would be surveying or canvassing, as well as using our own judgment of what we're seeing based on either what we know we wish we had known, or what people are constantly asking us, or what we personally want to know. A lot of times we will take a topic that we want to know more about, do a deep dive on it, get our gaps filled in, and then teach people about it.
This is how, and this is so interesting you say that, because this is how I educate. This is something fascinates me to a point where I just start digging in and putting models together, and then I want to share it, right? And I want to get feedback on it and improve it, and then so that is very interesting. So what you're saying is, as Chris Hermansky said, keep your antenna up. And be an investor yourself, right? And that's what Lisa Wise brought up. I'm sorry, I'm throwing all these names from my past interviews.
I've listened to all the podcasts, and I'll throw in what you did with Mr. Goldberg. You were interested in a coach, so you explored the topic with him.
Absolutely, that's exactly right.
Same concept.
Yep. So Lisa said empathy. And what you're saying, your statement at the open of your presentation, PM Grow, said I'm a better investor because I'm a property manager and vice versa. Well, so if folks are not, if you're listening and you're not an investor, but you do have a property management company and you have a portfolio, my recommendation would be take out some of your key investors, some of your bigger investors, clients for lunch, buy a dinner. Ask them what they need to learn, and maybe even recruit them to talk, be a guest speaker. What about that idea?
We do that. Yeah, bring them in there, have guest speakers, and for sure. I mean, people can learn from anyone, if any experts or people who've been there and done that.
Canvassing, what I'm hearing from Douglas, canvassing, listening, talking to your customers, getting interested in the real estate investment subjects and learning more, and then setting that up as an educational workshop. So, okay, I think we have a good grasp on kind of what content to put together. But also, within the content, like Douglas, what do you bring in terms of data to the table? Do you bring any kind of data like, hey, Memphis real estate statistics, anything like that?
Sure, things that are applicable to the topic. And just as a quick pause, one thing I also do is when we see gaps in either in our knowledge or other people's knowledge, we'll fill the hole with a topic on that as well. But we'll bring data, so it might be, hey, what's happening? What are the trends in this area, if Memphis specifically, over the next 12 months? What are we seeing, or what are people doing? Who's investing? Who's getting in? Who's getting out? What's the financing look like? Where are the rates? Where are the foreclosures compared to where they used to be? What are the price points? Is it a buyer's market or a seller market? What areas are performing or seeing appreciation, which are seeing cash flow. So we'll bring whatever statistics either that we're reading, that we're intuiting from our interactions, or stuff that we have internally, that data that we can drive from, hey, here are lease rates, here's how much leases have gone up and our rent rates have gone up in an area, or here's how much turns or costs are in a specific zip code, or here's where you might have some more challenging eviction type of issues with tenants, how long properties are sitting on the market. Data, absolutely.
Very cool. So you can get down as a person with that many properties under management, you can really get up there and give them an idea per neighborhood what some of their returns are, right? Some of the trend tendencies are. That's invaluable, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great. Absolutely. That's part of what we've done to continue to add more to that database and try and put as much data in there so we can turn around and extract it and use it.
Super.
Getting the data in's hard. Figuring it out is pulling it out's easier.
Well, being a CPA helps, doesn't it? A CFA too. See anything, CEO, whatever.
That's right.
All right, Douglas. So we got that. All right, we got the content. I think people can infer and figure it out. People who marinate in this all day long, it's what they do. They can within this tips they can put together content. Where do you hold the events? Next question. How do you find a place? What do you do there? Physically.
Yeah, that's an awesome question. We've done it everywhere. I've had one in my living room.
Okay, nice.
At my house. We had it in our office, different places in our office. As we've recently outgrew our office. We outgrew our office several years ago, but we finally moved in January and intentionally built a conference area, break room area to host events like this. Lunch and learns, investor events. Had one today that we might even talk about.
Nice. I'm interested. Yeah.
Yeah. Then.
So if you don't have a space,
we've done a couple venues, like the Realtor Association as realtors, we can utilize. They've got a bigger facility. We had a national speaker one time come in, a friend that we've gotten to know. He came in and spoke to our group and all of our friends and family, kind of thing. I think we've maybe done a restaurant a time or two, or coffee shop, or we've looked at renting like you did a conference, like booking a hotel. We haven't gone that way because we just don't want to spend that kind of money. Venues they're you can get as creative as you want. So
got to hustle a bit though, right? Got to move on a bit, right?
Absolutely.
Ain't gonna come hit you on the butt, right? You're gonna have to just get up and look around, but it's plenty
you
of.
You got to take the initiative. You got to take the initiative and do it and want it, and you wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you didn't want to take learn and grow and do it.
That's true. So. But I always want to remind, action trumps. Well, no, it doesn't trump education. No. Let's take back. But action is a necessary part of success once you have the education in place.
I heard action without study is so. Study without action is futile. So just studying to learn. And
it's a good one.
Action without study is futile. Study without action, or action without study is fatal. Can be fatal. So you have both. You don't want to be futile. You don't want to be fatal. You got to have the action and the study.
Good, and that's what we provide. Let's keep going. So, yes. Douglas, we got the place now. Oh, by the way, one other thing occurred to me. Like, we work with partners. Property management companies have plenty of vendors, right? A maintenance company, you work with a CPA. Call them up, say, hey, Tim, you got let's go to lunch. You're like, I'm thinking to put together the investor event. Would you like to guest speak? Or, and by the way, do you have a little space in your office? I notice it's a big office. Something like that, right? You network.
Good point. We borrow money from banks. We refer people to borrow money from banks. We deposit, obviously, the banks. We've used the bank conference room because they're not using it, the boardroom. They're willing to. Businesses like that want you in there. Like you said, closing attorneys, insurance agents, they want more clients. So they are willing to roll out the red carpet. They're willing to underwrite events, either pay for lunches, pay for food, pay for materials, pay for a venue. Absolutely.
Very cool. Google does that to us as well, interestingly enough, as a foreign house. Now that we're a premier partner, we get all these, hey, invite your customers for this. We'll pay for that. So we're thinking about those, but yeah, it's definitely partnership. That's how you leverage your partnerships and build the stronger ones. Okay,
absolutely.
All right, enough. We went on a tangent, guys. I apologize. Sure. Doug and I can go on a plane, fly to Korea, and never stop speaking.
I agree.
So I want to take a moment and say thank you for our sponsor for this episode, and that is PM Growth Summit, the premier property management conference. The first event was held in January 2017, and the feedback they received from the people who attended was amazing. For example, Andrew Morris with Realty Services said, I quote, "It felt like TED conference for the property management industry. It was a fantastic opportunity." Or Robert Taylor with Independence Realty said, absolutely the cream of the crop. Huddle with the finest to learn the winning plays. Well, now you can find out for yourself. Log on to pmgrowsummit.com and you can see the full selection of PM Growth speakers with videos, conference notes, as well as full PowerPoint slides. 27 plus presentations. You can get your team involved with the latest and greatest in property management education. You can purchase a one-time access to have full access to all of the content that was presented at the PM Growth Summit 2017. We hope to see you at the 2018 PM Growth Summit. The dates and time and venue will be announced shortly. Now back to the show.
All right, let's keep going. So we have the content. We now have the place. How do you get people, man? How do you get investors?
Yeah, that's the fun part, right? Because you got something that you want to educate people and share with people. So every way from word of mouth, email list, former attendees. We're active in our newsletter would go out, our client list, friends of friends. So invite a friend, bring a friend, and then kind of forums where we're active on social media, a LinkedIn page, a Facebook page, a Twitter blast, but then also again, hey, invite your friends or put it on Bigger Pockets as a social real estate social network we're very involved in. So word out, word out, word out.
Any specific strategy for people starting out? Anything you'd recommend?
It's starting recommend as far as
like they don't have a list.
People who want to try this for the first time.
Right.
Yeah. Start with your clients. Start with your employees. Start with some real estate agents who have referred you business. Start with anybody, prospective clients, leads that you have, anybody who you think would really benefit from that, but knows you already or has a quick, in who is this, what is this, I don't know.
I would do
a warm lead, if you will.
I would absolutely do that. So that's a great recommendation. Start putting together, so in a room of 20 people, there might be like 19 people and one stranger. But hey, man, you got one, right?
That's how we started. It's just kind of that one match fire. We had one match to start the fire. And so we started with dry leaves, just some little simple dry leaves, people we knew, real estate agents we knew, clients we had, and then we put on some twigs, then we put on some branches, then we put on some wood, and all of a sudden we were able to put a rain-soaked log on the fire because it was blazing so high. But from that one little match, we didn't walk into a 200-seat venue and bring in a national speaker.
Yeah,
we started little bitty.
Gotcha, Douglas. Yeah, that sounds good, man. So all of you got networks. All of us have networks. So start inviting people, and also it will give you a chance to truly vet out your content. Your presentation you need to be a master when you get up there. But don't worry about being a master on the first one, right? When you little match, master. You don't need to be. This is you're learning, you're engaging with people, you're comfortable because they know you, you're engaging with them, and it helps you to become. This reminds me of a guy I know, Joe Stokely. He doesn't listen to my podcast. He's one of my good friends. That guy's a master. And the way he works a room, I wish I can get him to teach classes. And those of you guys who know Joe Stokely, tell him I have to listen to this podcast. But anyway, he's a master. I've seen him work. I haven't seen you work. I've seen him work. Yeah,
he's great. He and I talked after we met at PM Grow and have emailed back and forth and talked afterwards. So thank you, Alex, for the introduction.
Sure thing. Yeah,
he's a great shared guy. A lot of great ideas back and forth.
Really good. So one other idea I had, there's a service where you can buy. I'll link it in the notes on the show. I can't remember. I'm not gonna say what it is because I can't remember. It's some propertymanagementleads.com or something like that. You buy a list of landlords and investors who own rental property in the areas you want to manage, sure. And you cold call. And your cold call isn't hey, you want to buy property management? No, you say, hey, notice that you own an investment property here, and we're putting together a seminar. It's free for investors, and we provide appetizers, and we're going to teach you about blah blah blah. So I would just sit there, take the list, and cold call all these names. And see if you can get 4 or 5 invites.
I love that idea. It totally works.
You're not selling anything. You invite him to a seminar, and it's good to have kind of a website splash page for authority, so you can actually say, "Oh, go to my website, and here's the website, and here's a page to sign up." That way, you'll get an email address as well. But yeah, so this is food for thought. So there's many avenues. All right, so we got our presentation. Doug, we got our content. We know where to do it. We have the few people signed up. We're like, okay, excited. What does it take in terms of cost for your company to put together events like this? Because we're gonna go into what people get out of it, but what does it cost you? Like, what do you usually spend on an event like that?
Yeah, so we've if you don't count time, you don't count internal materials, printing paper, whether it's color copies or whatever. So we've gone from, if you don't count time and materials like that, $0. Building the presentation, inviting people via email and word of mouth calls. Again, not counting dollars for time. You already spent that time. So $0, upwards of, when we've paid for a speaker, rented a venue, and provided, say up their book, and provided food, upwards of $1,500.
Okay. Okay.
So, I mean, so anywhere, the majority of the time it's way, on this distribution, it's way down here, $0. Maybe you're providing appetizers, maybe you get cookies, maybe you get drinks, maybe you get some type of knick-knack. Maybe you provide sandwiches or lunch or something simple. So under $100 to do something small,
Sweet.
but upwards of 59.
Gotcha. So you experiment with it a little bit. So the cost isn't high, but the cost in time, it could be significant, right? So depending if you have your team doing it or you're doing it yourself, that's what would you say? Like once you have a content, it's probably 3, 4, 5 hours for each event, or would it be more?
That's right. Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. The biggest time investment is the content creation, getting the course, getting the class, getting the material, putting it in a way that it's usable over and over and over again, both for yourself, but also for the attendee to take as a resource and to use. Because that's 90% of it right there. Is something that somebody can walk away with, either a handout or a material, something that they can turn around and use and go, wow, I really got a lot of benefit. I'm glad I attended that. I'm either going to call them or think about them or refer people to them. I see them in a new light. You have a friend. You have an advocate, and it's a mutual respect, and you got a relationship.
Yeah, really cool. I just want to jump up and down right now, but I'm not going to do that out of respect, and simply the camera just won't be able to follow me at this stage. But man, the evergreen, the asset status of the content, because once you have that presentation, the next thing you do is you film yourself doing it, right?
Yep.
You split it up into part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, right? You put it online. You write up an article for each. You include some gated, it's now it's terminology here, gated content resources. For example, hey, if you want to download our research data, click here. They click, you put a little email gate so you collect their email address. Boy, there's opportunity there. Once you have the content, so that's 4, 5, 10, 20, 5-day investment in building a content deck, and really top-notch content deck is worth millions. I'm not kidding you. It's worth millions in the future of your business. So
right on.
Amazing investment. And once you have it vetted through the class, then do the video. Just have somebody record you doing it already, right?
Yep.
You're already doing the presentation. Just hire a guy for $400 to give you a good recording, right? Don't do it cheaply. Don't do it with the iPhone, right?
Gotcha.
Mic yourself up. Have a videographer guy do it, from Craigslist or whatever for $400, and then you have really high quality educational seminar that you can, sell. Not sell. You can publish on the internet and get a lot more deal out of it.
Yep, tons of traction, reusable. We can go on that topic too about customer acquisition through education and consultation. But anyway,
that's your gig. I know that.
That's our gig. That's our gig.
We got to keep you on the real estate events, the physical. Absolutely. All right. So I got on the tangent. I'm sorry, but I see the opportunity for content opportunity. By the way, guys, those of you 4.5 clients, you have that seminar. You call me, and I'll help you digitize it and make it like a juicy asset for you. Juicy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. So, what do investors get out of it? What typically, so I know what the content is, but I want to, on the other side, on investor side, I'm putting myself in the real estate investor's shoes. I attend your seminar. What should I be coming out of with? What kind of a pitch? Well, education, I understand, but what are you going to pitch me on?
Yeah, I love that, because it's not just one thing. It can be it's several things. Obviously, you're getting some knowledge. You're getting some type of material that you're walking away with. Again, handout, PowerPoint, PDF, email after the fact, something that you can resource after, as well as reference material as where this came from, so you can do a deeper dive on your own. You're also making contacts because it's with peers, some higher, some lower than you if you're a novice or expert, in between. So you can get some deals. But one of the things we really like, Alex, is especially for the newer investors, is they just get confidence. So we're trying to instill, this isn't rocket science. Come here, learn. It's a friendly environment to ask questions. here's somebody you can pick their brain. Here's a resource you can use. Here's a contact you can have afterward. Here's some deals. We might throw out real deals for people to look at and analyze, and do that. And occasionally somebody will hook up and do a deal, with somebody in the class. Our very first sessions, what we got on our first couple sessions, when we went through a five week session, the first class, one guy in there bought one house. So we were like, this one guy came in here and bought a house. The second time we did it, 5-week session, somebody bought 2 houses by the time it was all said and done. So it's just fun to see what different people take from it.
But do you, that's fine. Confidence, networking, that's what investors are getting out of it. That's interesting. It's like, hey, you're not alone. There are people like you. There are people who know how it's done. Yep. That's a great way to really, really become financially independent, rich, whatever you want to call it. But what do you pitch? Do you pitch your services? Do you pitch your property management services?
Occasionally. I mean, we're not, and maybe this is, hey, we can do some offline coaching on this with 4.5. But yeah, we don't pitch hard. We do not pitch hard.
I don't think that's wrong.
So yeah, it's just not who we are. So I
don't either.
Okay.
On these podcasts, and like that's not, I don't pitch. That's not the purpose of it.
Very similar. I mean, we're creating content that we might reuse, repackage, like we just discussed, but we're also, so much of what we do is helping people, helping ourselves, helping others. So there's a lot of internal gratification that comes from it too. Why do people teach?
But you do introduce your company and explain what you do, right? So, and then you kind of leave it up to them. I think they really appreciate that. I think people are shocked. I think they might be expected to be pitched hard, and then they're not. They're like, huh. That's an upside.
Yeah, this isn't like the real estate gurus who are, if you come to this class, we'll give you an hour class, and then you can sign up for the Saturday seminar that's $700, or the $100 Saturday seminar, or come by our DVDs and our book and subscribe to this. And it's not a teaser. It is absolutely not a teaser. Now it might be an introduction to kind of what we do, and you can come learn more and teach you, but it's not a teaser like the gurus do.
I think I like that. I think, to be honest with you, that goes alongside what I believe, and that's probably why you do so well.
It definitely attracts a certain type of person, but it attracts the people we want to attract.
Exactly.
People like ourselves and people who resonate with that, and guys like yourself who do the podcast. You get business from this podcast, but
indirectly,
it's not about 4.5. It's about helping property managers become better property managers. I've learned about BDMs. I've learned about buying other property management companies. Just from listening to these things, I wouldn't have necessarily known where to go to get that information.
Gotcha. Yep. So highly, but I'll leave it up to the listener, right? If you guys sitting there thinking, he doesn't pitch, but I like to pitch. It doesn't, right? Whatever works for you, right? Steve Rosenberg pitches, right? He'll pitch, and he'll sell. Douglas doesn't pitch, but that's fine. He sells too. So it's what you're comfortable with.
Do what you're comfortable with. All of it. Do what you're comfortable with. There's some place for you to fit, and use education and use this to get business. There's no doubt about it.
So having said that, in no pitching situation, what is your conversion ratio?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I kind of did some numbers, and we probably gained maybe 600-700 houses last year, and we probably got 20 or to 50 of those related to some type of luncheon, some type of investor education.
20 to 50.
20 to 50 of 500, 700 houses.
But you grew by 700 houses. So first of all, let me just say, wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
But then you probably double that to 75 or 100 that came through, I don't know if you call it verification or validation of what we're doing. So they're watching the videos, or they're utilizing the resource that we've done via I saw your post on LinkedIn about your video, or about the class you did, or I saw I read about this on your blog, even though they weren't necessarily in there doing that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I call it kind of indirectly.
So
it's probably 10 to 20% of our business comes tied into that.
10 to 20%. That's very interesting. But that's 600 homes is an unbelievable number. I mean, people are happy to grow by 60. Jesus. In many ways, 600 is an unbelievable growth. I mean, that's great. So if you are growing by 60 and you're bringing 50 of them through events, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you're growing by 60 and you add real estate education events to your portfolio, doing them on a quarterly basis or monthly basis, and you bring another 50 properties, so now you're growing by 110. That's a good problem to have.
Easy. Yep. Great.
So good. And one last question.
Yeah.
Or I guess, Douglas, what am I not asking? What other challenges would people face putting these events together, hosting? Is there any legal risk, anything like that? Anything weird I didn't think about?
Good. Yeah. You definitely become. I would encourage people. I mean, again, it's different strokes for different folks. What do you want? What are you trying to accomplish? I would. What I'm personally trying to do is spread the load amongst different people, kind of like y'all do with your videos, right? It's not just Alex doing videos. It's Neetu does a video, Abby does a video, John does a video, Andy does a video. So share the load so that it's not Douglas who's the expert, Douglas who gets overwhelmed with all of the people want to talk to Douglas, all of the people want to ask me the questions. It's like, spread that out, let other people take the limelight, let them speak about the topic that they're interested in, they're the expert in, they can answer the questions in. So to me, that's something to think about. Hadn't thought about the liability. I'm sure there are issues around that, but we try and do our best, what we can. We use this as much for a customer retention tool.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. Tell me more.
As an acquisition tool. Just we don't want to lose our. I mean, we've worked our tail off to get these people here, and we're busting our tail to give them great service day in, day out, rent their house and such. But we also want to stay in front of them with content, help them grow as investors. And so this is a way to, even if they don't attend, they know what we're doing. They think of us as leaders. They think of it as thought leaders, keeping up with the industry. We're interested. We're passionate. Just for them to know we're on the top of their mind as they have people ask them about their business, so they can refer people to us. Again, all kinds of ways to retain both the client, but also we do it with our employees so that they can learn and grow and better serve.
I was going to say,
fun.
Man, you just said exactly what I wanted to say. That is, I didn't even think about that, man. I mean, client retention is so key, right? And they know you are top notch. You're smart and you constantly evolving and improving and educating. That right. You do insert yourself and almost. Like you almost guarantee your referrals, right? When people, even people, as you said, they don't attend, but they know they're getting the information. They know you're active, and you're a believer in what you're doing. And then employees. I mean, you have somebody who's, let's say, a BDM on the phone all day long. You send him out to present a seminar. Now that becomes his favorite day of the month, even though it's probably scary as heck. But now all of a sudden, people feel important. They're so self-assured. They're after the presentation. I see my people. It's very hard. It's so hard to prepare. They worry so much. People rather die than speak publicly. Right?
Right. You're right.
That's how it is, man. And then once they've finished with this, you can see them. It's a shift. It's a mental shift. Now they're the expert. Where before they were, just an employee with, regular knowledge, regular expectations.
Yep.
Average. Now they're above average. Right. So that's all those things are excellent, man. I'm really so I guess the verdict is hold the events, right?
Man, without a doubt, because you can do it as, like I said, the cost can be minimal, and it's on whatever you want it to be whatever just talk about it.
Really cool. All right, Douglas, this was A real pleasure. Thank you for taking the time. And
you too.
hey, yeah, we'll hope to see you on some additional interviews as we get more questions about this podcast. I get more and more questions now, so we have to do follow-up stuff.
Great.
All right, have a good one, guys. Thanks for listening.